Nissan guys, Nissan engine builders. Right, hopefully this is the last video in timing the head, putting the heads on, timing the cams up and everything. It's like a sauna in here. We've lit the fire and it may be freezing outside, but it's hot in here. Anyway, what you will need for this job, just putting the cams in, you don't need much. You want a nice 10mm socket, 10mm ratchet and a nice, I'm using a quarter drive torque wrench because these are all low torque. You'll need a 24mm spanner and a 21mm spanner. Your Permatex or Hermatite, whichever is the gunge of your choice. What you'll definitely need if your engine is a few years old is these washers. They're a Doughty type washer. If I pick one up, they're those. Now, when I took the engine apart, they'd perished totally, and as they're on an oil way, they'll allow oil to pee everywhere if they're not in good condition. So get those. What I've done, I've already done one head because I don't want to bore you to tears with two heads because they're both identical. This head, the cams aren't in the right position yet, but they will be in a couple of minutes. So, actually, you can see the Permatex coming out where I've fitted them, and where the Permatex goes in relation, if you lift that off and lift it out, is around this pattern. Now, this is your oil feed to the cams. So you don't want to get any in this area, or just don't gob it on. I mean, there is a groove there that is designed, any overspill will go into that groove. You know, you just, some people chuck it on like cement, you know, but little is good, and that's probably a bit much if anything. So anyway, so let's drop that in place. But before I do, actually I did lube that one. That's all lubed up, so I can see plenty of lube in there. There may be plenty, but there's never, I'll just squidge out what's not used. When I start this engine up, or before I start this engine up, right, quick pointer, new O-ring there, in the other side as well. New secondary tensioners, both sides. They come with the chain kit, so you should have all that. So let's drop that in. Now, at the moment, these cam bolts are just finger tight. They're just nipped up, just rolled up with a ratchet. So let's just drop these in. What I was saying about when you start the engine for the first time, once this engine's fully assembled and got oil in it, I will crank it over for a few minutes till I've got good oil pressure and I know the oil is thoroughly pumped around the engine. So you have no dry bearings. Torques for these bolts, there's three-stage torque for these. They say 2 Newton meters to start with, which is basically just pulling the thing down with your fingers. I don't really worry about 2 Newton meters. Then 5 Newton meters, and then 9 Newton meters all around, and then 10 Newton meters for the last few, leaving these at 9. So let's just, if I just do these finger tight, that saves ages with the torque wrench. Okay, I'm in a rush here because the missus is moaning she's got to do some cooking in a minute, and I'm wasting her cooking time. I'm not even allowed to start the bike while she's working in the kitchen. It's just horrendous. I think that's manly abuse. Anyway, let's have a look at my first torque wrench setting. Oh, still got it at 9 from the last one. So let's back it down to 6. That's 5. 6 Newton meters to start with. Starting here. Actually, I'll just touch them up a bit more. It's not even going to be 6, I'm just pulling them up. That was outer first, double check, 3, 4, yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. class 4 at the front. This isn't quite 6 Newton meters, but it will be in a minute. Right, then up towards right, a set of 6. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, check, right order, 9, 10. Right, gets a bit more critical on the next setting. So now I'm going to do them 9, so that's 6, so I'm going to go up to 9 Newton meters, because these are at 9, these are at 10. First of all, I'll go to 9. Double check, yep, the front ones are 9, these are all 10, those are 9. Right, so 9 Newton meters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of the previous build videos are on YouTube. They will be transferred to my website at some time, although I haven't actually got round to doing it for this engine. There's other builds on there. Where are we on? 9, 10. If you do go onto my website, which is my name, stuarthusband.com, just one word, you'll see the bikes, the cars. I've got a little web shop on there as well, which some of you might find a little bit interesting or amusing. Have a good laugh. There we go. Last 2 after this one. So 9 is what these front caps are set at. So that's 9 Newton meters. Check, check, check. 9 says go to 10. 10. And these ones are all 10. So check. 3, 4. 3, 4. Check. 5's the outer, yep. 5, 6. 7. 8, 9, 9, 10. Right, and what I will do, I'll let this stand for 24 hours. I will double check, but from experience I know that they will be spot on. So we've got, there we go, that's all of those torqued up. Just wiping the oil off around there. If it drips on the carpet, I'm going to be in even more trouble. Now you can see the Permatex coming out around there. And if you come around to the front here. Right, so these are pretty much set. The dowels on the exhaust is at 12 o'clock, and on the inlets we've got the large dowel hole 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock in line with the surface. Now, excuse me, as I said yesterday, when you fit these cams, they fall into a position where they torque down easily with no load on the valves. They're slightly out. So now we want to get them into the right position. So we want this hole at 6 o'clock. So we take the spanners. Is this the 22 or the 24, 21 or 24? Right, so 24, so we back this off. Don't forget, this is the cylinder, number 1 cylinder will be at top dead centre. So, but fortunately, these valves, when you set this up and you're backing this cam off, because the cam lobes are pointing up, the valves aren't opening, so they're not fouling the pistons. So this is a safe way of doing it, and this one is a 21, so it's different size slightly. Hang on, there's a bit of spring there, so we've got to get that on. Want to get that up to 12 o'clock. Fortunately, there's a nice groove. Let's have a look. 12 o'clock, spot on. I think that wants to go over just a fraction. Maybe I'm a bit OCD. Let me double check the other ones. So it's 12 o'clock, 6 and 12. Right, there we go, guys. So, now all the cams are timed up. That will sit like it is. We don't need to turn the engine over. I'll take photos, I'll add photos, list of tools, they'll all go on my website eventually. The next job will be this rear cover. Now there's a lot of guns to go on there and O-rings, so I'll cover that in the next video. Fingers crossed the website will be updated in the next couple of weeks and I'll get everything I've done up to this, which is starting from a bare block to the crank being balanced, lightened, the rods being lightened and balanced, because I've got, which rods have I got in this? Which rods I've got in this one? But anyway, they're supposed to take 1200 horsepower, and when I bought them, were they Curillo? They were supposed to be match weights and they weren't. There was a couple of grams different, massive difference on some of them, so I had to have those machined and lightened and balanced. So everything through to the rods, the cosworth pistons being fitted, the Cometic gaskets, everything's there on separate videos. If you've got nothing to do at night and you can't sleep, my videos should do it for you. That's about all there is to say, boys. So I hope you're not taking as long as me and it's all going to plan. Oh, and if you need any buckets, I've about 40 assorted buckets. Because when I had the machining done, everything was different. I had to get all different size buckets. But anyways, if anybody needs any buckets, I'll be doing them half of what Nissan will charge. They're charging £50 a bucket. I'll do them for 25 if I've got the right size for you. So you can drop me a line on that. But yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys, and I hope yours is going well. Cheers.